All right, this is recording 727-727. Again, you can find me at ChristinaStacia918.com. Okay, so this podcast is going to cover more of the past and more connections, proving that she did the World Trade Center attack and that she's been running child trafficking rings for 60 years. It also proves, again, her behind doing the Iran USA hostage crisis in 1979. Okay, so I got a couple of recordings I'm going to do. So first I'm going to do this one. So, and I've had these notes on my phone for a couple of days. And I was just too exhausted to get the recording up right away. Jean had some of her people on. Jean Jernigan Roberts had some of her people on, and they were like saying in my brain, they were like, "What are you going to do? We own the country." And then they literally took like a group photo and put the photo in my brain. And one of them said, "I'm taking back my jacket. That's it." They bought a jacket and they were going to make fun of my website. That's because they refused to find out. No, it's not that they refuse to find out. They know exactly what they're trying to pull off. They're guilty. They're criminals. But they're literally making fools of themselves. The United States government can see in my brain and they can see what they're doing. And they're just like, oh my God, when do we call Department of War to Department of War? Anyway, so they had a jacket. I guess they put I couldn't see the jacket. She just said, "I'm taking my jacket back." And then I guess my website was on the back of it. And then she had literally got a ball cap. Now, everybody else at this point, because they know that Gina's running a baseball sex trafficking Ponzi, and they know that she's out to ruin everything Americana, people just wear ball caps just to be wearing ball caps. She's not going to ruin their lives or their loves or what they grew up with or anything that's Americana to them. So everybody else just keeps ball caps as ball caps. But they're in this state of delusion that everybody's wearing ball caps out, that they're out, trafficking kids with Jean Roberts and her Manson occult. So anyway, one of them literally had a ball cap. Can you even believe this? I'm literally turning Jean Roberts and her people in for running a baseball sex trafficking Ponzi. So she literally gets a ball cap and then she puts my website on it in this group photo. And I'm like, you people are insane. Jean Roberts, you did the World Trade Center attack in Oklahoma City bombing. You committed thousands of other crimes. There's not any member of law enforcement anywhere that doesn't have my podcast. There's not any intelligence anywhere that doesn't have my podcast. People are able to solve crime now all over the world. And you continue to exhibit yourselves. Just don't even care. Just literally don't even care. Anyway, they said, "We own the country. What are you going to do?" And the actual president of the United States, Trump, was on, and he said something to them. I can't remember what he said, but it's like walking on glass situation, broken glass situation, because she's got people held hostage. She's got ballistics. She's got nuclear. She refuses to let people go. And it's a gigantic hostage racket, like I told you. So it's just, it's literally waiting for the leaders of intelligence and the leaders of military around the world to call the shots and to end the Manson occult and to take Jean Roberts and her Manson occult down. But anyway, so until then, I'll just keep making reports. Like I said, I'm waiting. I would love to be in witness protection. This is ridiculous. This is insane. I'd love my boys to be in witness protection. This is ridiculous. This is insane. And I want Jean arrested. I mean, people feel in danger and freaked out why the media and the news isn't saying anything, but people are now able to more effectively communicate beyond Gene Roberts trying to clobber all media, which is music, movies, television commercials, brand marketing with her Ponzi, like it's just a big old party and just everybody just get out there and, lie about a kid, rape a kid, sell a kid, So that's what she does on her end with a silent war. You have to look behind the scenes of all that. And if you pay attention to intelligence and police, they have ways to communicate. Newscasters have ways to communicate that they know that is Charles Manson committing these terror crimes, and their trafficking Ponzi is what's funding the terrorism, and everybody everywhere, she blames everybody everywhere for these crimes. All they do is they do what I do and decode the crime and find out where the source is. And what I was told, it's all rolling right back to Jean Jernigan Roberts and her Manson occult. So they know that it's Jean Roberts. They know that it is her and her Manson occult. So anyway, they even said when they had their little group photo and stuck it in my brain, they go, the Saudis are with us, is what they said. And then Saudi Arabia was on and could not help it. Like, they were like, oh my God, I cannot believe you. I cannot freaking believe you. They started like busting out laughing, and they said, no, I don't think that's the case. Or they said something like that, like, no, we're not with you. We're not with you. Anyway, she also did something disgusting in my brain again. She always does disgusting stuff in my brain. It's horrible. But anyway, this time it was my sister. So she blends herself, Jean Jernigan Roberts, blends herself using CGI with my sister into one human being. And then she proceeds to act as if my sister and her together are arriving to fruition, if you know what I'm saying, and as one person. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm just like, I cannot believe nobody is like literally demanding Jean's arrest or shooting Jean Roberts in the head. I'm like, oh my God, I literally wake up to this. I'm like, oh my God. And she romanticizes it the way she puts it in my brain. You know how she loves all the romance and all the drama and all she like romances it, and it's all like, you know how she does in the music and stuff? It's horrible. It's horrible. And I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, I know my sister would not do that. Jean's all about that, and Jean is all about applying pressure on me, as she's always told me this past several years. Before she was hiding it, but this past several years, she's like, I've always owned you. I could do what I want to you. So, I mean, it's her way of making those threats at me. So anyway, okay, so moving forward. So, okay, AIW 70s. Okay, back to my grade school years in Globe, Arizona when I was in grade school. Okay, so back to the high C part of the code. Okay, so something else that goes to the high C is Jean also, when she was writing the demonic crypt ciphers, and I'm finding this out in the future, like present day, which I've been decoding for the past 9 years, and I've got her turned in for it. And she, on the other hand, pretends she's me, and she's over there just running her little thing, thinking she's getting away with it. Okay, so anyway, so she encoded the high C, the HC, also stands for hostage crisis. Okay, and then you also have high C, so she's even mixing in ICE hostage crisis. So she's doing an AIW effect, which I've already decoded this before, but this is more of it. So she's talking about the Iran 1979 Iran hostage crisis, that she's planning to do that. And then she's going to layer over it again in the future, which is now present day, with another hostage crisis. But like I told you, the hostage crisis has been going on a long time. There's two different kinds going on. From what I was told, it's more complicated. The way I explained to the government of, like, there's a superficial one, but it's real, where she's got celebrities and different people that she wants to exploit and take advantage of, get their money and promote and razzle dazzle and all that. She's got that hostage crisis going on, and those people are sick of it. They want out of it, and she won't let them go. And they are demanding. I can hear him in my brain screaming constantly, like, whoever can hear in my brain, like, get us out of here, get us out of here. But she wants to run her stunt. So that's the super, and then the big one is the one that she's been running for decades, probably before I was even alive, which is a lot of people. Now, what the United States has explained to me in my brain and mental telepathy is it's more the way that they have it categorized or classified or triaged is it's more expansive and it's more complicated. And I know that this is also worldwide going on. Gina's trying to do this worldwide. So they just said there's a lot more layers to this, but she definitely is holding people hostage. So another thing is moving forward. So, okay, so Mike Strain, okay. So Mike Strain was the former sheriff, I believe, of St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Department, which is Slidell, a suburb of Louisiana. Okay, so I want to point something else out she did here. So I have more evidence that she killed Officer Ray Dupay. And you guys can see that on my website. I decoded the heck out of it. I know that she took his life. So here's more evidence that goes to that. Okay, so Ray, and I don't know if I'm saying his name right, and forgive me if I'm saying his name wrong. So Ray Dupay was a motorcycle cop. Okay, and you know Gene has a fetish for bikers. If bikers, military, or police, that's her fetish. So anyway, I wanted to point out to you that Sturgis, see, I decoded the Sturgis from AIW 70s from when I lived on 11th or 12th Street when I was in first grade in Globe out of in the previous recording. So take the Sturgis word. So the Sturgis is entwined in Mike Strain, in Mike Strain's last name. So you can cross-reduce those. So if you cross-reduce those, you get NAUGS. You're going to have to go on a little tour. But you can see what also she did there. So this also, this also connects to snip, snap, snout. Okay. So this is also encoded in here. So it goes from my early grade school years, and then it advances to Chicago when I lived in Chicago, and I decoded Gene assaulting me and my friends in high school, and there's a whole bunch of, I decoded so many ciphers, oh my God. But she encoded, part of it was her encoding in snip, snap, snout is from the Three Billy Goats Gruff. Okay, so I decoded all of that out. There's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch. Okay, so you know the snip, again, that would go to Shears, and then, oh yeah, and then Shears, and then Sears, the Sears Tower, which is now, Willis Tower. So the Sears and the Shears, that goes to Shears School, and that goes to my incisors are planning to do the World Trade Center attack that goes all the way back to the early 70s when I was in grade school. But I've already decoded her making terror threats against the Sears Tower. So it's also more evidence there. And then, so the snip, snap, snout, so that's encoded in here also. Also in here in something else that she did, okay, so you've got this in my previous podcast, but just to briefly go over it again with you real quick. Okay, so when I was in first grade for Christmas, okay, my mom, Clayanne, okay, was married to or dating my dad, my stepdad, Jeff Cook. Okay, we lived in Globe. I don't know if they were married yet or not. Anyway, so my mom bought me for Christmas a Sew Perfect sewing machine, and it was like the prize toy. You know what prize toys are. They come off of the shelf, you play with them, you put them back up. Okay, so it was the prize toy. So anyway, when I lived in Slidell 9 years ago, Jean Roberts came on and she was impersonating my mom. And she started going on about my Sew Perfect sewing machine from when I was in first grade. And I could tell by the way she was talking, and I could tell by what she was saying. I was like, you're not my mom. Like, she was talking to me in my brain. And I'm like, who are you? You're not my mom. Quit impersonating my mom. And it was Jean Jernigan Roberts saying she's my mom. Now, present day, Jean Jernigan Roberts tells people she's my mom in different fashions and forms. She's not my mother. She's not related to me. She's my dad's ex-girlfriend. She is the leader of Charles Manson. She is a deranged psychopath. So anyway, so the words, so more that comes out of this is the I'm not going to pronounce this, Prefecture. And then also perfection comes out of this. Okay, so Prefecture. Okay, so that connects to the early 70s again, and that's all in code. This is all a part of this cipher that I just showed you, and again leads to evidence that she killed Officer Ray Dupé. So Prefecture. So the Las Vegas shooting, let me put this in real quick. The Las Vegas shooting, she did the Las Vegas shooting. Okay, and the Las Vegas shooting was at Mandalay Bay. Okay, I think it was at Mandalay Bay. And if you look at an overhead of the casino, it looks like a playing piece from the game Perfection. So when I was in Slidell and I was decoding all these terror attacks that Jean had committed, I literally decoded that she did the Las Vegas shooting. And then come to find out, the guy had ties to Mesquite, Nevada. And then the guy also had ties to Mesquite, Texas, which is where Ben and I lived. Okay. And I know there's a big biker area down near there in Laughlin. Anyway, so I know I decoded the whole thing. I know that Jean Roberts did this shooting. Okay. So anyway, I've decoded back in the 70s from when I was little, like going back in time, AIW 70s, from when I was really little in first grade. My obsession with the Encyclopedia World Book. My mom, back then, people would show up at your door and they would sell encyclopedias. And my mom had a gigantic World Book collection. And I was super little. And I was always in those encyclopedias. And then that would also go to Encyclopedia Brown and Hardy Boys and Tex Watson. I mean, she's icing me, okay? And then I'm not saying she's icing me. She literally iced me and my family. She still ices me. She will not leave me the hell alone. I keep turning her in. So anyway, you can just see previous recordings on what Ice says. So anyway, okay, so I decoded way back from when I was little, not only her stalking me and my family, and not only her simultaneously also stalking Mario and his family in California at the same time in the 70s, but her also stalking musical artists, okay? And one of the musical artists was Run DMC. Okay. And I decoded the heck out of it. It freaked me out because Run DMC is my favorite rappers. They have always has been. So I'm like, oh my God, my heart is like literally like breaking open. Like this freaking psychopath is stalking this shit out of everyone. So anyway, fast forward to Chicago 1986, and then you got to see all code that goes around this, which you have my podcast, so everything is already fitting into place. You're already like, yep. We know. Okay, so 1986 rolls around, and I'm in Chicago, and Run DMC comes out with Raising Hell, and one of my favorite songs on the album is Perfection. Okay, so anyway, she commits this terror attack, the Las Vegas shooting, and I don't know what the heck she's trying to like pull off with it, because she tries to get people to go along with her, and people do not go along with her at all. People are like beside themselves. They're like, somebody arrest the Manson occult. So she literally committed this terror attack, and she's using my favorite rappers as a theme. I mean, and I find out she's done all kinds of stuff using music. She's committed all kinds of terrorism using music. She still does that to this day. Okay, but I'm letting you know she did the Las Vegas shooting, and that was the themes, because she's using the Perfection piece. And what is the Perfection toy? You need to look at the Perfection toy itself. Okay, it's yellow and red, which are United States Marine Corps colors. Again, she's trying to frame the Marines. Very, very sick of it. Anyway, it also has a timer on it, and you push it down, and then when the timer pops, all the puzzle pieces pop up and spring up in the air and go flying everywhere. So you know what that's also a reference to? It's a reference to the timer snake pits and a race for time in trying to figure out what's going on with all the puzzle pieces everywhere. But this is like the world's slowest, stupidest car chase ever, because, you know, I'm the informant, you know, I'm the victim, you know, Jean is the perp, you know, her and her Manson occult committed these crimes, and the only thing that's stopping anything is she's holding people hostage, and she's got ballistics. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like every second of every day, everybody is face to face with knowing who the perp is and who the informant is, and the perp constantly wanting to be me and trying to steal my identity, and me constantly making podcasts telling on her. But the whole world is aware of this, which is the good news. So eventually this will come to an end. So anyway, so what goes more to this so perfect is this is so perfecture. So SOUS. Okay, so also see all code SP. So SOUS, another one of Jean's favorites, which she's used in a lot of theming, is Dr. Seuss. So she's making a reference to Dr. Seuss there. So what is a so perfecture? It's a French term. So again, Vichy, VICHY government, she's making a reference there. So she's taking advantage of this so perfecture, and what she's trying to say is she's trying to undermine the United States government, and she's trying to crash the United States government, and she's going to trick the government, the United States government, into the future, into going along with their horse shit, which is where we're at right now. No, Gene Roberts needs to be arrested. So it's a French term for the administrative center of a smaller region within a larger French department, headed by a sub-prefect operating under the main department's prefecture. It's a local government office for an area that isn't the main seat of the department overall government, functioning like a branch office for the prefect's administration. So it's probably how she like sneaks in, or what she's trying to do is crash the government, and what she's doing, she can't be doing it all. So it's just, you can tell it's like aggravating me to no end, like arrest the bitch already. So key aspects. So French system, prefectures govern large French departments like provinces, and also that would go to parishes, because province, parish. So again, that links back up here to like more present day, where she took Officer Ray Dupé's life. So, and arrondissements are subdivisions within them. In Sioux Prefecture, the town that serves as the local capital for an arrondissement, but not the main department. So also in this is Shears, and then also in this is Horton Hears a Who. Okay, so also something else that I just noted watching TV, there was a story, the Jodi Hildebrand story, and I know you already know just hearing her name. So again, you can tell that Jean Jernigan Roberts was involved in committing those crimes with Jodi Hildebrand. I mean, it is all classic of Jean. And what was making me laugh watching the parts of it, it was sad. I didn't watch all of it. It was sad. It made me sad. I'm trying to get this woman turned in so there's no more terrorism and there's no more trafficking. So not Jodi Hildebrand, Jean Roberts. Okay, Jodi Hildebrand is clearly already caught. So anyway, Jean Jernigan Roberts obviously committed these crimes with Jodi Hildebrand, either in person or via ICE or whatever, but you can tell Jean Roberts is behind it, because while I was on watching part of it in my brain, intelligence was on going, okay, you can, yep, Jean did it, Jean did it, Jean did it. And then they kept showing, they were trying to show like crooked media, so they kept trying to show Jodi Hildebrand holding a phone, and she oddly, like, but not oddly, it's supposed to be not a coincidence, but it's more, again, proving that Jean is guilty and Jean is a criminal and Jean is a liar. They want to compare me as like the Antichrist, and so she's supposed to oddly like look at me, and they've got her look like me, and then, but really it's Jean Jernigan Roberts. And so they've got her holding her phone constantly, which is like making me like laugh, because I'm holding my phone making a podcast. Like they're desperate to do anything in the media to paint pure ridiculousness instead of turning Jean in. And then what really made me angry is one of the boys, one of the victims, they literally have him in a denim shirt, right? And it's making me sick to my stomach, because you know that Jean is a predator and Jean is a terrorist. And so they're showing him in the hospital, and they're showing a beautiful blonde woman, and she's showing concern for him. And Jean is in my brain just delighting herself. And then they show the little boy, he's got a denim shirt on, and Jean in my brain goes, "Fuck you." And I'm like, oh my God. If the United States of America does not arrest Navy Yal 27 ASAP, I'm going to lose my mind. You're talking about a predator and a terrorist of 60 freaking years running around acting like she's saving the children, even hiding in a crime that she assisted in committing and thinking she's getting away with it. Like, this is insane. So anyway, something else I wanted to point out about the show, I didn't pay attention to all the details except to note that it was in Santa Clara, which I know you guys easily picked up on that. The broken X in the ladies' company's name, I know you guys probably picked up on that too. So also, okay. So another thing is, okay, here we go. So moving forward, okay, so more of her stalking of me and my family. Okay. So Mario, my first husband, is like, there's two things he freaking loves in this world, and I bet you he hasn't changed, and I bet you it will never change. Two things the man loves in this world, and that's Zippo lighters, he collects them, and Maglite flashlights. Okay. So he had a Maglite flashlight, and get this, it was one of the big ones. It was a cobalt blue color. So she used also that, like, she ice raped him to buy a cobalt blue flashlight to match her theming of the remembrance, the never forget remembrance of the World Trade Center attack. That's what it's supposed to represent. And it's a mag light. Do you hear what I'm saying there with the mag light? Jean did that to Mario and Mario's family and to myself. So if you don't charge her, I mean, you got to charge her. You got to arrest her. So anyway, also inside the mag light, she's also in the initials ML. So that would also link to her planning to do the anthrax attacks. And then there's probably a whole bunch in that. I bet you the mag light is a huge cipher because it's also got Mali and it's also got Somalia in it, Benghazi. Okay. And then also, her wine bottle, her I Love Me Some Drum Major wine bottle. Okay. Someone was processing this and pointed this out in my brain. She also encoded herself, drowned. Remember I told you I turned her in for drowning a little boy in a bathtub and she told me she was going to get away with it. And I could see the little boy being pulled from the water, deceased, and she was pulling him up, or the little boy was being pulled up. He was deceased. He was being pulled up by his elbow. And Jean was like putting the video of it in my brain, like the footage of it. And then Jean was in my brain going, I can tell you I did this and still get away with it, is what she told me. And I was like, the hell if you will. And I turned her in. Okay. One of many hundreds and hundreds of over 1,000 crimes I've turned her in for. So anyway, what she did here was, so this is more evidence because it gives more date and time stamp. Okay. So she encoded that in her I Love Me Some Drum Major wine bottle. And you have to remember, the wine bottle, she sat on my dad's wet sink. Okay. So there was it's not my dad's wine bottle, it's Jean Jernigan Roberts' wine bottle. Quit controlling my speech. So her I Love Me Some Drum Major wine bottle was on the left, in the back left. And then the 3 Marine Corps wine bottles were to the right, on the back right. And then there was the wet sink, and then below that was like the bar where all the wine bottles are. So she used that to brag about like the scene, setting the scene. So it's not just me decoding I Love Me Some Drum Major of 3 or 4 pages, which I've already went over with you, everything she's bragging about getting away with. But like the scene of the whole thing, she's literally bragging about doing Hurricane Katrina using my dad's wet sink. But she's also bragging about being the leader of Charles Manson using my dad's wet sink. She's also bragging about drowning that little boy. So also somebody pointed out also the little drummer boy. She did that too. So because this is I Love Me Some Drum Major. So the little drummer boy is my favorite Christmas song. It always has been my favorite Christmas song. So is Do You Hear What I Hear? Okay, that Christmas song and Little Drummer Boy have always been my 2 favorite Christmas songs. So that's why she thinks she's going to get away with it. And again, she's using Christmas music, which again goes to her Silent War theme, but also pointing out her taking Rick Allen's arm. So that also goes to this. So, okay. She's also using LDS, but she's saying LDB. Okay. So in here, she's using LDS, Latter-day Saints, but she's saying LDB, okay? So she's saying BS, like she's saying Latter Day, and then there's also lattice on the wet sink in the front. She's saying BS like bullcrap is what she's saying. And then she's saying, and remember I encoded, I didn't encode anything. I did not do the World Trade Center attack. I'm decoding your ciphers, Jean Roberts. You did the World Trade Center attack. Do you remember when I told you how I decoded her writing in and using the Mormon theology or Mormonism, how Mormonism works, the theology or the basis, the principles of Mormonism. I don't know what the terminology is there. And she used that as a plot and scheme also in doing the World Trade Center attack. Okay, I decoded all that and actually have the map of it on my Pinterest. And I didn't even write it all out because I'm making a report to you, Secret Service, so I'm pretty sure you've got it freaking figured out by now. So here's more of that, her encoding the latter day, okay? And she's also using, and she poses as a Mormon. Gene Roberts does. She's also using Brigham Young University, BYU, okay? But she's also saying BYOB. Now, note, this is the wine bottle we're talking about. So, also note the OB, obstetrics. You definitely know Gene Roberts. This is all Gene Roberts does. This is literally her wine bottle. I decoded it. The BYOB is a bunch of ciphers that she created too, creating the anagram or whatever. And I decoded the whole thing out in my brain. And I was like, just like Glamour magazine. She tore up Glamour magazine too. And I was like, I'm not writing any of this crap down. It's freaking stupid. So no, just no. So anyway, I've got plenty to turn you in with. And she was pissed that I didn't write any of it down. She was like mad. She wanted to brag about what she got the heck away with. And I'm like, just no. So anyway, BYOB, and then she's referring to the Moab, and she's also saying Bob's Big Boy, which makes me huge freaking laughing. You know her name is Gene Roberts, okay? So Bob is a nickname of Roberts that makes me laugh my ever-living ass off. Robert's Big Boy. I can't even freaking, it makes me laugh so freaking hard. It makes me laugh so hard. It makes everybody laugh in my brain. The United States government, oh my God, they tear the shit out of Jean. Jean really thought she'd get away with that. Like her son, no, those are not your children. Those are not your sons, Jean. But they're her boys. They're her big boys. So anyway, Bob's Big Boy was a restaurant that was famous in Arizona when I grew up, and it was around before I was born, that she used in the theming. And the Bob's Big Boy is he's got like a checkered overalls on, and that the Bob's Big Boy restaurants shut down. Okay, so she used that as a theme in planning to commit all of this terrorism using the restaurant, and then she wanted to try to spin it around and tell lies. And basically she's like, there's no basically, you're full of fucking shit and you're a terrorist. I mean, I'm literally turning you in for committing obscene amounts of crime, including what you lie about, which is your freaking crime. So anyway, so that makes me laugh my ass off. Bob's Big Boy. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. Okay, so moving forward. So, you know how she assaulted me. I told you she assaulted me. And I don't know how she managed to get it done. I can see her doing it in my brain with artificial intelligence vision. Okay, literally can see her doing it. There's plenty of people. And I mean, if she wants to go call the leaders of the cartel liars, let her go the hell ahead. Because they're the one that showed me, look what she did. And I didn't want to see it. Like I told you, I didn't want to see it. I was trying to move my brain, move my head around, like trying to, and they're like trying to talk, and I don't want to see it. It's like, I'm like, oh my God. But anyway, they like slowly got me to like see, but not like see like Jean would do. Jean is disgusting. Like, I want you to see that she really did this to you. So, and I've decoded this, and the United States government, you guys have already confirmed this, but I don't need your confirmation because I know she did this. Number one, I saw her doing it to me, and I decoded it. So anyway, she assaulted me with a pencil when I was 2 months old as a part of her sacrifice in planning to do the World Trade Center attack. So this is more evidence of that. Okay, so and it's also more evidence of her assaulting and killing JonBenét Ramsey. See all code on JonBenét Ramsey. So you're going to see how this all connects together. So pencil and paintbrush. Pencil it in. That's another phrase that she did there. Pencil it in. Okay, so pencil and paintbrush. So painting is setting the scene. Okay, and paintbrush, you think of painting as something beautiful and okay. So that also goes to my yellow and white dress. Okay, where my grandma painted the little Indian girl on my leg. You're going to see the whole recording on everything. So it's supposed to hurt me in the future, which it does hurt me, but I shove it down and I turn Jean in. So she writes all these damn demonic ciphers and I decode the heck out of it. So she's either penciling someone or she's painting someone. So it's basically the difference between a trick and a treat trick. Okay, and you know what I'm saying. She also used crimson and clover. Okay, so I've decoded the heck out of crimson and clover. So when I was little in grade school in Globe, we had clovers that grew around the tree in the backyard. And I would sit out there, I swear to God, for hours. I would sit out there for forever. I would sit in those clovers. And you remember that little phrase of, he loves me not. And if you find a 4-leaf clover, you're lucky and all that. Well, the he loves me not. I would do that pulling on the petals. He loves me not. I wouldn't get the answer I wanted. I love it. Look, I didn't have anything in my brain. I'm just being a little kid being freaking stupid playing in the yard. But anyway, so the clovers, I was like, I'm going to find a 4-leaf clover. And so I would sit in the backyard with the clovers and I would search and search and search. I would look at every single leaf of every plant. I went through every leaf. 4, no, 4, no, 4, no. I would rip some of them and turn them into 4-leaf clovers. I'm sorry, she's forcing me to cry. This is artificial intelligence. I'm not really crying right now. She wants emotional effect because she wants to steal my identity. I'm just trying to get the facts out to you. Yes, she can use artificial intelligence to make me cry. So anyway, though I do cry genuinely, but some of the crying is artificial. See, now she's drying up my tears with artificial intelligence. Now my tears are going away. And now I'm back to normal almost, except my eyes are watery. Isn't that freaking insane? That's artificial intelligence. So anyway, so I'm like looking for the 4-leaf clovers or whatever, because I want a lucky 4-leaf clover. So I look and 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 look for hours. Every day I'd be out there. So it was like a little game I used to play. So anyway, I went back, like going back AIW 70s, going back in time. And there's all kinds of decoding ciphers. There's all kinds of ciphers that go to this that I decoded. So anyway, and then that's how I found out crimson and clover. And then I ended up decoding AIDS out of this. HIV. So anyway, what she's using here is pencil, paintbrush, crimson, and clover. So if you take me and JonBenét Ramsey, and she's overlaying crimson and clover, but she's flip-flopping it and swapping it back and forth. So me would be the crimson when she assaulted me with a pencil, but I'm still alive and JonBenét Ramsey is gone. So then JonBenét Ramsey becomes the crimson. And then I become the clover because, like, are you feeling lucky, punk? Okay, like she's painting me as the Antichrist and she's the Antichrist. And then the crimson, she paints JonBenét Ramsey as, which is what she is. She was a precious child. She was kidnapped and murdered. But you see what I'm saying? Now she's like she wants one just beat to hell and dead because she hates it. And she wants the other one beat to hell and dead because she wants to worship it. Okay, that's how she is between me and JonBenét Ramsey. And you should know her first love again, the one her godsend from life is John. When she arranged the relationships between me and my relationships, I got fucking hell on fucking wheels, the fear of my life for 5 years, and his name was John. Okay, so anyway, if you notice the commonality and more commonality, the initials PC, peace. And then also, she's using Raggedy Ann. Now, my mom, this is another thing that Jean did to me. So my mom, she sews, like I told you, she can sew. When I was little, she made me a life-size Raggedy Ann doll. She hand sewed it. And if you don't know who Raggedy Ann is, it's a doll. It's old school. But for those of you old schoolers out there, you remember Raggedy Ann. What's her heart? Her heart is red. She has a red heart. Okay, so I've already decoded all the Raggedy Ann and all the Ann stuff. Like, Jean is like playing Ann Generation. She's got this whole Annie and Oliver theme. And so she recycles one Ann for another over and over and over and over again. So she's she's literally turns me, and you can see it in here in the initials in crimson and clover between the pencil and the paintbrush. She's literally planning. So I go from being a little girl with my life-size Raggedy Ann to now I'm an adult Raggedy Ann. And then look at the initials. And then you can see the RMS there in crimson. Okay. Then you can also see in here, in PC, you can see UPC barcodes. Okay. So barcodes. Okay. I decoded all the barkeeper. Everything bar, I decoded everything bar and beer and everything else. That's all Jean Roberts, Charles Manson, ciphers. I don't care what, that's what they think is that some of it was her covering her ass, leaking some of it out, and then trying to fool people into thinking that it came from the Masons, where some of it really did originally come from the Masons. Okay, but the Masons like even thinking that's their own, but then they find out, no, there's a whole bunch here. We didn't even know about any of this. And that would be Jean Journey Roberts and her Manson occult working underneath you. So it's easy. Then Jean can just pick and pull and then blame. Okay, and Jean Jernigan Roberts. So she's got this whole barkeeper thing. I decode the heck out of it. So that's what that goes. So remember how they started putting the barcodes on the top of cereal boxes, the box top. Okay, cereal box. Okay, and then you've got pencil box. Okay, I already decoded that, but there's more evidence there. I know this is painful. It's not even freaking funny. It's not funny. But I mean, do we want to let Jean Roberts get away with child trafficking for 60 years and committing terrorism? Or do we want to arrest her? Do you want to continue letting her run around pretending to save your children? And she's really the beast from Milton. I'm serious. You need to arrest her. You need to arrest Christina. You need to be in witness protection. That's us talking through you. You need to be in witness protection. You definitely need to be in witness protection. And Jean Roberts needs to be arrested. So also, that's also signs of the future. Now, this sign of the future is theoretical. It's not something I hard decoded, but it probably is. I mean, because in the Bible, Christians talk about, like, as I've grown up, people talk about, like, you're going to see the sign of the mark of the beast, and they're going to start using barcodes on the scanners at the grocery stores and all. Okay, so I'm saying that's theoretical. It's not like I decoded it, but it's hard coded in here. So she like hard encoded it and that's where we're in is Revelations. Jean Roberts, I call her the Antichrist. I swear she's the Antichrist. She fits more of the role of freaking Jezebel and her Jezebels, but she is but that would be the Antichrist. She's the Antichrist. She's the Antichrist. She's the Antichrist. I don't know the Bible that deep to know. I just know all the basics, and I know Jean's the Antichrist, and I know she's Jezebel, and I know she got a lot of Jezebels out, like, oh my God. So anyway, also in that is Apocalypse Now, and also Cup and Cusp. So again, that would go to the future 9/11. And then that's also the initials of Benedict Canyon, one of her Charles Manson hideouts. And then also in this, you can see what she's trying to do within the word crimson. There's a whole bunch that goes to crimson and clover. This is just more added. I don't know if you probably don't have my original, because I still have all my original. I turned in hard books that I decoded, but in my electronics I still have, and this I decoded electronically, so I still have it. But anyway, the Crimson, note how it has Miami in it. Okay, so what she's trying to do there is, and notice how it has Sharon and Tom's son in there. Okay, which is a reference to Stephen and her plans for the future and her crimes of the past. Okay, so anyway, she's got the MI in there. She's making a reference to herself as Miami, but using Miami, Florida. She's from Florida, but she's making a reference to Miami, Arizona, which is a suburb of Globe. So she's trying to wipe me out and trying to steal my identity and steal my life. And then she goes about her sexually deviant ways and commits terrorism with her Jezebels, pretending to be people that she's not. And it's just like ridiculous. That's what she's trying to do there. I was like, oh my God, this is so freaking gross. So anyway, and then also Sam is in there. If you turn the A, so Son of Sam is in there because there's the sun. So anyway, that is the end of this recording. Before you listen to it, make sure that everybody listening to it is over 18. But it's going up. The only way I can make a report is to make it public because nobody will arrest Gene Roberts. And I've got another report to make, and I'll make that in a minute.